Hello again, Greg here. Time to talk about the MyMathLab. So in MyMathLab, we're going to be doing homework and some quizzes. By the way, the quizzes are just like the homework. Basically with their system, they take the homework questions, they change the numbers a little bit. The quizzes are just like the homework. So if you take notes as you're doing the homework, then you could use that and be able to ace the quizzes. One thing that I forgot to mention when looking at the syllabus is there's something due Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like I said. On Mondays, it's either going to be a problem set, which I talked about in the last video, or it's going to be a quiz on MyMathLab. So the Mondays will sort of alternate between problem sets or MyMathLab. So Monday the 15th, got a problem set due, as well as the podcasts 1 through 15. By the way, with the podcasts, I had mentioned you can watch those videos. You could also do them rather than waiting until Monday night, September 15th, and doing 15 of them in a row. You could do, as we do section 2.1, do the 2 podcasts that are for section 2.1. When you do section 2.2, do the 2 podcasts. And so you just do like 2 at a time as you go through, and then you'll turn in numbers 1 through 15 on September 15th. Okay, now it's time to talk about MyMathLab. One thing you need to do is grab this course ID Perkins 34922. So let me copy that. And then go over to your web browser and just Google up MyMathLab. So Pearson is the company, so this is the legit link, MyMathLab. And if you already have a link because you've used Pearson MyLab before, then go ahead and log in. Otherwise, use the student access. When it says, are you using an LMS? Just say no. That jumps you all the way down to here. So you're going to need the course ID, which I just copied from the syllabus, an email address, and then a way to pay for it. Now, there's a couple of options. You could pay for it yourself. If you are paying for it yourself, then go ahead and use Pearson's website because that's going to be the cheapest way. If you've got financial aid at Hartnell, you can go to the bookstore and buy it there, have financial aid buy it for you there, and then you'll get a code which you enter, the access code that you enter in a couple of pages from now. Also, you can get temporary access. And if you're not fully sure you're dedicated to an online class, I would say use the temporary access. You could use it free for 14 days. After 14 days, you decide, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Then you go ahead and pay for it. If there's a lag time after 14 days, they will freeze your account. After you pay for it, they unlock your account. All of your work is still there. Okay, so now I'm ready to register. So it then says, go ahead and put in that ID. Perkins 34992, and of course it knows that I have an account, so I go ahead and sign in. And whatever the cheapest option is, do that. So the cheapest option is the $95 over here on the right, so choose the cheapest option. And then okay, so right now it's August 19th. The class hasn't started, so that's the reason that I'm getting this. This page usually would say, okay, you now need to give us your credit card, but the class hasn't started yet, so that's the reason it's doing that. But for you, it'll work because by then the class will be going. Okay, so once you have paid for it or you're using the 14-day temporary access, then it'll look like this, Math 3A for the fall of 2025. See, one person actually has already enrolled with the temporary access, so I know students are able to sign up for it. Okay. Oh, I know why I gave that error, because I'm the teacher and I can't sign up as a student. Okay, never mind. It'll work for you just fine. All right, so when you go to Math 3A, you can just go over here to assignments, and then you'll see that all of the assignments are here in order with the due dates over on the side. So there's section 2.1, 2.2, and I even, if you look at the Canvas homepage, you'll see that there are the, oh, hold on. I clicked on the wrong calculus class. Sorry, I've got 3 calculus classes. We are the online class. So if you look at week 1, there's section 2.1, secant line and velocity, section 2.2, limits of a function. And so you would watch my videos, take notes, and then you're ready to do the homework. And notice they're named exactly the same thing. So section 2.1, secant lines and velocities. And then eventually, like on Monday, September 8th, there's the quiz. So there's the quiz for those previous sections right there. All right, when you're ready to do the homework, click on that. And the first time that you use MyMathLab, it will probably tell you you need to allow pop-ups. So when I click on this question, so it looks like the format has changed just a little bit. Maybe they're not relying on pop-ups as much. But if you look at where this star is in the upper right-hand corner, if it says pop-ups are being blocked, then click on that and say allow pop-ups from Pearson. Okay, so here's the first question, and in the lecture, excuse me, sorry about that, I do examples just like this. And then when you go to, you've done your work and you're ready to put in the answer, and obviously the answer is 56. So then I can check my answer. So down here in the bottom right, check my answer. And oh, wow, I didn't get it right. So it then gives you a little hint. By the way, you need to use this formula, which is the change of the y's over the change of the x's to get the slope, and you get to try again. So then you say, okay, so obviously the answer is not 56, the answer is 5. And then you get to try again. So there's an unlimited number of attempts on the homework questions. You can try them as many times as you want, and you just get to keep going. So if you're stuck, you can go down here to view an example. And so they are still using pop-ups. So this is a pop-up screen. So you do need to allow pop-ups. And then it takes you through the steps with a very, very similar problem. So they change the numbers a little bit, but they do take you through the steps. So then once you see, oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. That's a minus right here. Okay, I know what to do. Then you try it again and put your answer. If you say, help me solve this, it's basically the same thing. They will take you through the steps of this particular problem. And once you do that, then this problem will change. So maybe instead of being 9x cubed plus 9, they use 7x cubed plus 4 or something like that. But the question that you actually do will be very similar. There's also get more help, and it sort of depends on the section. One thing that will always be there is the textbook and Ask My Instructor. If they happen to have more stuff available for that question, they will have more in this little window right here. So if you want to ask me a question, please use Ask My Instructor, because then it will send me a screenshot of what you were looking at. So if you say something like, I don't understand why they put 9x cubed. Well, I do need to see the screen, so put Ask My Instructor. You can also use the textbook, which is also a pop-up. And then it takes you to the section, so it doesn't just randomly open the book on page 1 or page 93. It then takes you to the section that they're talking about. And of course they have some links in here. Maybe they've got some videos, they've got examples. Let me see if this is, so referring to example number 1. So anyway, then you could use that as a reference also. Okay, so that's basically how the homework works. And then So I'm going to say save. Because I didn't finish that one, I'm not going to receive any credit. But because you can try it an unlimited number of times, it doesn't really matter. You can say yes, close it without checking my answer because I know I can always reopen it. And you can try it unlimited times until the due date. Once the due date, it's then locked and closed. All right, then I want to go back to why do I have to sign in again? I want to go back to that beginning page. All right, so they've got a lot of stuff in here that I actually don't even pay attention to. If you look over here, there's a video and resource library. And what I like is you can go to, let's say we're working on chapter 2 and we're working on, I don't know, just pick a section, say 2.5, and then say, show me everything that you've got. And then they show you, they've got interactive figures, PowerPoints, they've got these videos, which is either the long one, 37 minutes, or you can just look at these 2 and 3 minute videos. So whatever they've created for that particular section, that's there under the video and resources library. And I just need to quickly also tell you about the quizzes. So when you finally get to the quizzes, like I said earlier, the questions are going to be very similar to the homework questions. They're just going to change the numbers. So if you take notes on the homework as you do it, then you can use that to help you succeed on the quiz. Now with the quiz, you only get 2 attempts. So are you ready to start? There's 30 questions. And when I create the quiz, I don't do it by the number of questions, I do it by the time. So as I'm adding questions into the quiz, because of their database, they're able to say, okay, this is going to take a student 48 minutes. So right around 45 to 50 minutes, then I say, okay, that's enough questions. With this one, it was 30 questions, which would take students about 45 to 50 minutes. So plan on spending 45 to 50 minutes when you're ready to do the quiz. When you start the quiz, you can, okay, for one, if you take the quiz, you go all the way through, you answered all the questions, and you got 80%, and you're not happy with that, then you do get 2 attempts. So you do have to complete the quiz 1 time, and then it will allow you to retake the quiz a 2nd time, and then your best score will be kept. When you're doing the homework, you can walk away at any point, because even if it closes and it says, oh, you walked away, we logged you out, when it's the homework, you can log in, you can go back to those questions, and you can open any question as long as it's before the due date. With the quiz, you do need to, if you're going to walk away, let's say you're up to question number 7 and you really need a sandwich. Well, finish question number 7 and then say save. You can log out, walk away, have a sandwich, come back, and then log back in, and it's going to take you to question number 8. Like I said, once you're finished with the quiz, if you're happy with your grade, that's fine. You did it once, that's fine. If you want to redo it, you will have to restart the whole quiz. You do get 2 attempts. And of course, if you take the quiz the first time and take notes, the questions when you do the quiz the 2nd time are going to be very similar. All right, so that's basically how the MyMathLab works. And if you have any questions, please email me, and have a great day.